My obese parrot died today. It's a huge weight off my shoulders. Ha! And thanks to Martin for the joke. Today it's going to be a Frank Strömberg shave. Some of you remember him. He was an avid and very skilled wet shaver, big part of the community. He had his YouTube channel and sadly passed away some time ago. So when Matti and I and the others were at the Swedish wet shavers meetup in Stockholm a few weeks ago, a gentleman who had won a bunch of razors at an auction had discovered that it was in fact Frank's old razors and brushes and chevettes, etc. And he said, you know, I want to give everyone who knew Frank an opportunity to collect something, to pick something as a memory of Frank. And I picked this. So you may or may not remember that Frank shaved in his bathroom, and his shower curtain had a big shark, maybe from Jaws, the movie. So it was a huge thing, and you could see it behind him all the time, every time he did a YouTube video. So we called him Frank the Shark. And there are a number of Shark branded razors in Sweden. This is CV Helgestrand, a tiny little razor, about 4/8 of an inch. And Matti found this and honed it and sent it to Frank. And now, you know, it's mine, or it's still Frank's actually, but I'm holding it for the time being. So I gave it to Matti. I asked him to hone it, which he said he was honored to do. And he made shaving videos honing it and I think shaving with it as well. So today it's my turn. It comes straight from Matti, so it's perfect. So he said, don't strop it before, you'll only mess it up, which I know you don't do that when you have a freshly honed razor. One of Frank's favorites was Mitchell's Wolfat. He had a few. This is one of them, so that's what I'm using today. I am the proud owner of a pack of Mitchell's, which is with the original recipe with tallow and lanolin in it. So using that, I'll also be using my Frank Strömberg brush, which I forgot to soak. So I'm gonna soak that real quick. It's a nice boar brush. He designed the handle. Matti made it, turned it on his wood turning machine, and it's a boar knot, and I always get confused which one it is. I think it's an omega. Frank had a lot of omega knots and a lot of samog, and I confused those. But I think this one is omega. I don't know what it's called. It's called omega something. The aftershave is one that Frank asked me to purchase when I had a trip to Japan. I asked him, do you want anything? And he said, yeah, if you can pick up a bottle of Lucido aftershave, Lucido from the Mandem Corporation, please do. So I found it at a pharmacy in my hotel. So I bought two. I sent one to Frank and I have one. So we're using that. This one is, I mean, nothing today smells very strong. Mitchell's Wolfat doesn't have a strong smell. It smells a bit of wool, if you have a bit of imagination, or you could say it smells like soap. This hardly smells anything. I don't think there's any perfume in it. It smells a bit of, you know, medicine. It smells clean, nice and clean. So possibly the brush hasn't soaked enough, but we'll give it a go anyway. I bloomed the soap. Mitchell's Wolfat is the only soap I ever bloom. You don't have to, but you can. So I am. So I'm taking some of the blooming water, get all of that out of the container and rub it on the face as a pre-shave, which is old school like Frank. You can actually shave with this. You can rub this, if you bloom it for a bit longer, you can rub this on your face, and that's pretty much all the soap you need. I'll make a lather. So Frank was, I'll do it down here, because otherwise it's going to be a mess. Frank was very efficient in his shaving. No fuss, no nonsense, no new stuff. He was old school, and you know, traditional wet shaving is old school, and can't argue with that. So he liked his shaving, he liked his music. He listened to some pretty heavy music, heavy metal. He was an avid motorcyclist. He was actually a teacher. He taught people to ride on track racing. That's English. So loading an almost unsoaked boar brush with Mitchell's takes a bit of time, because you need to get quite a bit of lather, and it's still going to be a bit of a puzzle. This soap creates a whole lot of foam, so I don't know if you can see, but that's all filled with air bubbles. So you can toss it, or you can use it. Frank would use it, so I'm using it as well. I usually do. I always build the lather with my left hand, and I've strained my left hand, so we'll see how well this goes. It's a bit painful. I was carrying things which were too heavy last weekend, and you know, like an idiot, I wasn't paying attention, and voila, it hurts. I don't know what I did. It's down here. I should do this with my right hand, I guess. Now, the key thing with Mitchell's full fat is not to rush it, which I have a feeling I will do today, because I am a little bit busy. Every time I rush the building of a lather, I end up a bit disappointed. But what is extremely foamy and airy to start with, if you work it on your face, or I guess in a bowl, but bowl lathering Mitchell's, you know, come on guys. You work it, I don't know what happens mechanically, but you know, you kind of, it's very messy, kind of work the bubbles out of the lather gradually. And this first stage is the most important. Now, if you have a modern artisan soap, you load it, you put it on your face, you get this cakey, or no, not cakey, toothpaste-like consistency of the soap straight away. To get to that with Mitchell's, and you absolutely have to get to that with Mitchell's, you've got to work pretty hard. So I don't have a lot of water, because there is quite a bit of water in the soap to start with all the bubbles and shit. So work it until it's not dry, but sort of almost. I don't know if you can see. So you can't shave with that. So the next step is starting to add a bit of water. So I'm dipping the tips of the brush, painting that into the lather. So that's one coating. work it in carefully. All of it, everywhere. Again, with a modern artisan soap, you can sort of build the lather down in one corner, and that's going to be fine. That doesn't work with Mitchell's. So I'm adding moisture again, adding water on the second coating, and you work it in. Now this brush is very good, but because it holds quite a bit of lather, it's a lather hog as well, so it steals some of it, but it typically doesn't go to the core, to the base of the knot too quickly, which is good because then you lose everything. So water again, a third coating. So I'm adding quite a bit of water actually. More soap you have, more water you need in order to build something reasonable out of it. So I'm really trying to work all the lather all over the face. Oh, hand hurts. Starting to be picky. And this is where sometimes when I'm in a rush, I stop, I give up. Because I think, yeah, this looks good. And it does, you know, it's TV commercial looking. But we're not done. So adding once again quite a bit of moisture. You can add moisture as much as you like. This is a soap you don't really kill with water, except if you put a very large amount of water on in one go. Let's have a look. Looking good. Looking phenomenal. Now, that's a lather most people would go with, but we're not done. Can you see how much lather there is? And it, you know, it's already a dense lather. I'm adding more water every time, actually. Okay, I think soon we'll get there. But you have to work it in a lot. You can't just paint it on and be done with it. This is a soap where soap plus water plus aggression really is needed. Okay, I think we're slowly getting in to shape. I can do another coat of water, but I won't because that's pretty okay. Now, I don't know if this is a lather that's going to fall off the razor. If this was Frank, he would be down shaving by now. I haven't even started. So, as I said, much more efficient than I am. And I have suds all over and it's slippery as nothing else. Okay, let's see. This is really light. It's unusual that I use a razor as small as this one. So unfortunately Frank's videos are no longer available. Which is a pity because his technique was stellar. Shaky hands today. So, you know, Frank's hands were shaky as well. You see how much lather is on there? Pretty cool. See if it falls off the razor. It sure does. And the quality of the lather was so good that you could keep a huge amount of it on the razor. Now, I should have added more water. I can see that now. You won't notice the difference, but I will. So if I had infinite time and thought you had infinite patience, would have gone another round with water. Frank had backhand strokes. Frank did J-hooks. And you know, his shaving really was something else and very elegant. No bullshit, traditional, elegant, classy. I can see the lather is a bit on the dry side because I actually have to push it off the razor. It's an excellent edge, Matti. Really good job. I'm going even slower than usual because, you know, I don't trust my hands really. If you have a day like that, just take it easy. There's no rush. If you're rushing when you shave, with a straight razor, you're in the wrong sport, son. You should take it easy. This is becoming a eulogy of Frank. I didn't intend that. But what the heck. It was extremely generous, and many people will bear witness to that. So, he used Chevettes a lot. He did, and Dave Carr did. It was mainly the two of them. Matti to some extent. I said, well, you're the Chevette expert. So, what should I use? What should I start with if I want to try out Chevettes? And he said, well, you know, I'll lend you one. And he sent me, I think, 6. There is a video somewhere. Well, several videos, but one's called An Idiot Tries Chevette, and that's what it was. So he sent me, yeah, probably 6 different ones, and a bunch of different blades for me to try out and see what I liked. And after that, I have acquired a few Chevette. Some I use very regularly. And my favorite is the Wick Sexto blade. So Frank had a few of those. One Chevette, I think it was a Wick, but I'm not sure. He actually made handles too. He made handles out of wood. It was very, very nice. Did Matti pick that up? I think maybe he did. But I saw this one. I said, if no one else picks it, I'll pick it up. But yeah, very generous. Another time I was talking with Frank and said, you know, he was into perfumes quite a bit. You know, classy, old school stuff. And I said, you know, I'm interested in a perfume with a vetiver profile. And he said, yeah, I have an idea. I said, okay, fine. And a few days later, probably 10 samples of different vetivers, dark vetiver style perfumes. was in the package. And that was, you know, extremely generous. The time he spent and money on those things. And it was very helpful because I ended up picking a favorite, and it's now one of my favorite perfumes. It's Encre Noire from Lathering. So they must have had quite the collection. And yeah, we miss him. We miss you, Frank, if you're listening. He's probably saying, stop with the jibber jabber. God, you talk too much. Just shave. Jesus. He's right, of course. Oh, it's slow today. Beautiful edge. Well done, Matti. You did the razor. What's the word? You showed the razor respect. This is where he would do backhands and J-hooks. And I don't think I ever saw Frank draw blood, you know. There's always a quick shave, efficient shave, 2.5, 3 passes. 2 passes and pickups, was it? And he was done with it. Easy, efficient, very elegant with a suave. That was a good shave. That was really a good shave. Good soap. I rushed it, or I didn't spend enough time. Probably took 10 minutes building that lather. But you know, it's worth it. It really is. Okay, Lucido from the Mandem Corporation. One of Frank's favorites. You know, scentless aftershave. It's classy. This is actually also very good. All good stuff, a good shave. Remember Frank, think about him from time to time if you knew him. Take it easy up there, Frank, and I'll see you soon, I hope. Stay sharp.